2015, a family in Lebanon will have no clue that the newborn baby, Hussein El-Kurdi, will not be as healthy as they thought he'd be. Within days and months, he'll become extremely ill and be diagnosed with ADA-SCID. ADA-SCID is an autoimmune disorder that affects babies in the way that they can't go outside, as the bacteria can cause severe illnesses. Luckily for the family, they heard of many treatments going on in the US and the UK and decided to go to UCLA for treatment. As posted on the uclanewsroom.edu on June 28th of 2018, they state that Hussein El-Kurdi, who is extremely ill at 6 months, had his cells genetically modified and transfused back into him and was finally cured of ADA-SCID. This is all thanks to stem cell research. As seen on CordLife.com, access on March 30th of 2019, just for blood stem cells alone, 80 different diseases varying from leukemia to autoimmune disorders can be treated. Today, I'll be educating you on the issue of the lack of use of stem cell research and give you reasons on why we should be promoting it. I'll first examine the significance of the issue. Then I'll clarify the causes that promote the lack of use of stem cell research. And finally, I'll explore the different solutions for ways we can help. First, I'll examine the significance of the issue. With lack of support for stem cell research, we can't advance in science and medicine. As posted on ScienceDaily.com on November 1st of 2018, they state that stem cells have quite an impact on things like regenerative medicine. Regenerative medicine finds different alternative ways for obtaining tissues, organs, and anything of the sort. It wasn't until Obama released the ban on funding where we were able to accelerate in these areas. Thanks to that, we now have access to 400 million stem cells. There's a lot more we could do if we were to release the banning a lot sooner. With the lack of practice for stem cell research, we leave a lot of people who are ill or prone to these illnesses in the certain situation that they're already in. In an annual review by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention that was released on November 2018, they state that 8 out of 10 of the top 10 death causes are illnesses and diseases varying from Alzheimer's to different forms of cancers. These are certain illnesses and diseases that could have been approached with or treated with stem cells. Even though we have many alternatives to stem cells, none of them are as accessible as stem cells. There's a story by the California Stem Cell Agency.gov, access on March 31st of 2019, about a woman named Teresa Bland. Teresa Bland was a leukemia patient who was looking for quite some time for a bone marrow donor. She couldn't find one in time, and until she was suggested for stem cells, she would have still had leukemia today. Imagine what we could do for future patients who are in a similar situation as Teresa Bland. Now that I have examined the significance of the issue, I'll clarify the causes that promote the lack of use of stem cell research. Although there are many causes that promote the lack of use of stem cell research, I'd like to focus on two main ones: the flaw in our government and the lack of effectiveness. The first one I want to discuss is the flaw in our government. As seen on bioethics.net, posted on August 10th of 2007, they state that our federal government only funded $40 million for stem cells. Now, I know this seems like quite a lot of money, but this isn't enough for the various kinds of research that goes on nationwide. This causes our states to compensate for the difference. In 2007, California was the #1 donator for stem cell research. They donated $200 million. That's 5 times more than what our federal government is giving. This shouldn't be the case. The second main cause I'd like to discuss is that though our researchers are trying their best, their outcomes just aren't as effective. In an article posted on CNN.com by Jacqueline Howard on August 8th of 2018, she states that products are often submitted for clinical trials but decline as they don't meet the standards for safetiness and effectiveness. This is often due to the lack of funding and the lack of resources that our researchers have. A really great example of this is Dr. Diana Farmer. Her story was posted on the stemceller.gov on January 14th of 2019 by Kevin McCormick. Her story expresses her frustration of finding the proper funding outside of the NIH. She has been working for 10 years now for finding a cure for spina bifida. Now that's a lot of time, and she is a great example of many researchers nationwide who struggle on finding the proper funding for their own programs. Now that I've clarified the causes that promote the lack of use of stem cell research, I'll explore the different solutions for ways we can help. I believe we can solve this issue on 2 levels: a government level and an individual level. On a government level, I believe we should be pushing our federal governments to be putting more funding into stem cell research. In a review by Alan Tronsman and Courtney McDonald, released on July 2nd of 2015, they state that stem cells go through multiple different trials before hitting clinicals. As you can tell, this requires a lot of resources, and a lot of resources also means a lot of money. I believe our federal government should be providing the proper funding in doing so, just so our states don't have to compensate just like California did in 2007. On an individual level, I believe we should be carrying open minds. In a proposal by Benjamin Capps, released on January 1st of 2008, he says we must put our moral ideologies aside for stem cell research. Now, I know this seems very insensitive for him to say, but I believe that we have to put it aside just so we can get the proper treatment and care that most ill people need, as our moral ideologies might be in the way of them getting the proper treatment. As you can see, I've educated you on the issue of the lack of use of stem cell research and convinced you on the reasons why we should be promoting it. I first examined the significance of the issue, then I clarified the causes that promote the lack of use of stem cell research, and finally, I explored the different solutions for ways we can help. Hussein El-Kurdi and Teresa Bland are living examples of what stem cell research can do for many people out there. I believe we should be supportive of the process, and a big part of this process is stem cell research. Thank you.